Hey y'all, my name is Heather and I am part of Bakbagak Farm out here in Lytton Springs, Texas, which is near Lockhart, about a half an hour south of Austin. My husband Shane and I run our tiny little farm out here. We rent a property that's about 3/4 of an acre, and we have a small farm. Mostly we have chickens that we raise for eggs, and we have recently built a greenhouse and some outdoor garden space so that we could grow our own herbs and vegetables. Anyway, we started this channel to kind of really just share our story, our projects, our insane life with all of you. And we really just are proud of the stuff that we come up with. We're both pretty handy and creative. Definitely have put a lot of ingenuity into the things that we have made and built out here. We would like to, at some point, have a bigger farm. This is just kind of a starting point for us. We're learning a lot. Most of the stuff we do is trial and error. Doesn't always work out great. Sometimes it does. Sometimes we build things and we have to change or adapt what we've built to certain situations, and that in itself is a really fun part of learning through what we're doing. So I guess to give you a little bit of a brief history, we moved out to Texas in 2015 and rented a house in suburbia for a year. We hated it. We wanted property. We wanted, at the very least, to have some chickens. So, moving from South Carolina, where I had had my first successful gardens ever in my life, coming out here and basically realizing I couldn't have an outside garden because we were renting and we couldn't till the land or do any of that, I decided to try container gardening. So Shane built me a set of plant stand bleachers, and I went and got some tomato plants and some pepper plants and a few herbs, just to fulfill that need to grow. Anyway, it was very unsuccessful. Growing out here in Texas is a lot different than growing in South Carolina. The summers here are humid and dry, and the sun is a bit more intense, being that we're closer to the equator. So my plants that I was trying to grow lasted probably until about this time of year. So it is late June. It'll be July actually tomorrow. So I pretty much lost everything after a very small amount of harvest, due to heat and sun and just lack of rain. And even though I was watering, it wasn't enough. So then when we moved to Lytton Springs after that first year, I tried again with the container gardening, and because I wasn't sure, our soil out here is very weird. It is half clay, there's a lot of rock, and a lot of sand. So it's a very strange mixture. So I thought, well, you know what, I'll just start with container gardening, and I will put my plants in an area where it would get partial shade during the day. So, I got tomato plants to last a little bit longer, but again, I had epic failure. Pretty much once summer was in full swing. I think at that point I realized that I suck at growing shit in containers, and I was like, okay. So we talked this winter about starting a greenhouse, and maybe that would solve the issue. We would build raised beds and bring in dirt, do all of the things, protect it from the heat, and we could grow stuff in the colder months as well. So, that being said, we were quite late starting our greenhouse project this year. We had planned to start in February, and then other things came up. Basically, we had financial things happening, and we just didn't have the time or the money. So we finally started it I believe at the end of March or beginning of April. I will post some pictures, like a montage of the progress, since I don't have video of it, which was, in hindsight, pretty stupid. I regret it now. Anyway, so we built a greenhouse, we put some outdoor garden space in. So far, we have been pretty damn successful. I'm loving growing a garden again. It has been a passion of mine for a very long time. My mother actually was amazing at growing stuff. We didn't really do a whole lot of edible things growing up in the garden, but she always had a ridiculous abundance of flowers and just roses and bleeding hearts and tiger lilies that ran all the way across the front of our property, and we had azalea bushes and a magnolia tree, and there were just flowers pretty much everywhere. I believe she did grow tomatoes a few times. I don't really remember for sure. On that note, the tomato thing, I am quite obsessed with tomatoes. Probably in the last 5 or so years, I have obsessively wanted to grow my own tomato plants because I love tomatoes so much. I can eat them all day long. I will eat just straight up tomato with a little bit of salt and pepper on it. I love tomato sandwiches. I love just eating cherry tomatoes like a snack. So, my love for tomatoes is going to be very obvious in the garden space that we have created in the greenhouse. So a little bit about the garden space and greenhouse before we actually do a little tour. So we have a small shade garden, and then a flower area, and then we have a mixed edible and flower garden that kind of wraps around the side of the greenhouse and the back side, like all the way around the back side of it. The two smaller gardens, the shade garden and the flower garden, on either side of me, sitting on the steps in front of my art studio, which is a shed that Shane converted into a studio for me, which once I'm finished, right now I'm going through, like, dare I say, 30 plus years of art supplies and crafting things and just weird stuff that I've collected over the lifetime, my lifetime. So I'm organizing all of that stuff for the first time in my life, really. Got little shoebox totes, putting everything separated, going through stuff, getting rid of things I don't need. Anyway, that being said, the garden spaces here are doing really well despite the heat. It is 90 plus degrees today. It has been in the 90s probably since at least May, almost every day. Our little above ground pool that we have, that's about 12 feet in diameter and 30 inches deep, has probably been at least close to 80 degrees or above 80 degrees for about 2 months now. And I opened the pool in March this year. Got it cleaned, got the pump running. So that kind of gives you an idea of the intensity of the heat. So I guess we can start a tour, and if anybody has any questions or suggestions of stuff you would like to see, at some point I'm going to try to get Shane on here and do some little interviewing kind of about how things were built. Some of it I know because I was having a lot to do with. Some of it was more just kind of him doing stuff. I always joke that he's got Amish blood because he can pretty much build anything. So if I come up with an idea or even just a simple suggestion, he will figure out a way to build it and make it 150 million times better than I ever expected it to be. Okay, so quick tour of the garden spaces. I realize that some of the people who have just started following my new channel have already seen the beginning stages of a lot of this garden, but I'm going to start from scratch like no one has ever seen this before. Just so that, if there are any questions about certain plants or whatever, hopefully I will address all of those. So, this is my little shade garden, and this is actually underneath of a pretty crepe myrtle that gets pink flowers all over it. So this gets most of the shade during the day. I am obsessed with variegated plants also, in case anybody was wondering. So, and pink, hot pink specifically, is my favorite color of all time. So, actually a friend of mine posted that she had found one of these on Instagram at a local nursery, and then I just happened to be at HEB, which is our local supermarket here, and happened to find one just going through their garden center. So this plant is called Nanthera. I don't even know how to say that, but its nickname, I guess, is Party Time Pink. And this thing is pretty cool. I love the variegation throughout, and it's doing really well in this garden space. I have a small plant here that I don't remember what it's called. It is one of those little angel plants that you can get at Home Depot and stuff, but it was doing really, really terrible. I kind of clipped everything back and I'm just letting it come back on its own, and it's doing quite well. Here I just have a variegated small ivy plant, and over here I can't remember what these are called either. There's a tag. This is a Magilla. Perilla Magilla? What the hell? I never even read the tag on that. That's a pretty funny name. But anyway, I like the variation in colors on this. I have some fun rocks. And I'm going to add some more rocks and stuff after we mulch. The bird bath is filthy. And my gazing globe. And of course I have an air plant on top of it because I love those damn things. Anyway, we have my lily of the Nile here, which are done blooming for the season. These are the seed pods that are left over after the flowers die. And this thing is absolutely gorgeous when it's in full bloom. I've got a friendship plant that a friend from South Carolina had given me, and I've had this for quite a few years now. And it's doing great. It loves the weather out here. I planted seeds in this repurposed paint can. I have no idea. Actually, you know what? I might know what that is. It's just finally starting to flower. Anyway, this is a repurposed old chicken feeder that I painted and planted some marigolds in here. And I believe there's one on that side. They're going to be moved. They're getting way too big for that. So this is my second lily of the Nile. This one is quite a bit more mature than the other one. Even though I bought them at the same time, the one over there has struggled to be at its full potential for some reason. But it's doing a lot better this year. So I have this little flower area here. Has sunflowers in it, marigolds in it. We've got black hollyhocks. I'm trying to support them as they grow. These guys are across the back. I have another sunflower here. More marigolds. That is a lantana, a red one. And we've got yellow lantana up here in the front. And these guys, which are, I think they're pretty much done for the season. This is a shrimp plant. Gets these cool little flowers that almost look like shrimp on them. And then this is a canna lily. Canna lily. I can't remember if it's a canna lily or a regular lily, but it's super, super dark red. And then as it matures, the flowers turn almost black. And let's see. Moving on to the edible stuff garden. So we have a nice tall sunflower here, which ironically was planted at the same time as these short little guys on the ends. We've got garlic chives growing in the cool little elephant planter. And then we have a lot of basil. And we have also tons of lima beans growing in here. That is a cactus that well, it's supposed to bloom once a year. A friend of mine who passed away years ago, he had given it to me. Oh God, it's probably been over 10 years at this point. But it died, and I just kind of left the plant in the pot that it was in, and then I went to take it out and get rid of it, and I saw a teeny tiny little bit of green. But it's coming back, so I had to give it a home in here. Over here we have our asparagus plant, which apparently will not mature and give us asparagus for several years, but that's okay. We've got rosemary down there. There's more basil. We have more lima beans. Oddly enough, there is a volunteer tomato plant. I have no idea what kind it is, but I guess we'll find out. Got a bunch of marigolds here, running across the front. We have the, man, why do I always forget the name of this thing? Mystic Spires Blue. It's in the salvia family. The bees and hummingbirds really enjoy that. We've got more lima beans, more basil. I can't remember what those are that I planted. More lima beans, more basil. More rosemary. We've got nasturtiums, but I don't know if they're going to do very well because it's too hot. And we've got dill. It's about to go to seed. These little flowers here. It'll turn into seeds, which is awesome. This is my best looking, huge Thai basil. This thing is gorgeous. Very healthy and very happy out here. Then we have the okra plant, which is getting massive. And behind that, we've got more. Oh, something's been eating these. We've got more lima beans, and then we have two eggplants here. This one is Ichiban Japanese eggplant, and then this one is the Black Beauty, I believe is what it's called. No, not Black Beauty. I think there's a tag somewhere. There's not! Well, whatever it is, it's like a regular, I guess, eggplant plant. Then we have some cardinal climber that's climbing up our little trellis here that goes over the door. And just really quickly, the trellises that are along the walls here are just pieces of cedar fencing that we cut down into, like, I think they're 2-inch wide pieces, and then attached plastic lattice to it. Just quick and easy. This is actually a cattle panel that we arched over the door so that all of this stuff can grow up that. On this side we have 2 kinds of cucumber. There are the Boston pickling and I think the Burpless hybrid are over here. This thing is doing unbelievably good. Down here we've got more lima beans, and then, so I did an experiment with tomatoes, and I really wanted to see if I could propagate off of the suckers, and I just grabbed a bunch of suckers, stuck them in some dirt and some pots, and lo and behold, all but one made it. So we've got, oh look, there are ants harvesting aphids on the lima bean plant. Good, you can eat that. Don't eat my other stuff. So I don't know what most of these tomato plants out here are, and that's pretty damn funny. This is, I believe, spearmint and sweet mint. This tomato plant I just put in yesterday is a Cherokee purple. And that's another nasturtium there. And then I've got... so we attempted to grow some lettuce out here and some kale, or I'm sorry, cabbage and kale, and some of them came up. I believe that's kale. I don't know how long it's going to last, but we're just kind of letting it do its thing. Anyway, more propagated tomato and some lima beans and propagated tomato. This is a pink brandywine tomato plant. I just put that in yesterday. More lima beans and propagated tomato. Baby cabbage. I believe that's a weed. More baby cabbage. More propagated tomato and lima beans. And more lima beans and propagated tomato. And then more lima beans and our strawberry plant. And then we have lemon balm and chamomile, which doesn't look like it's even growing anymore in there. So, maybe you want to know why I have so many damn lima bean plants. Well, a friend of mine who I've known for very, very, very long time, since I was like 15 or 16, he's got a little urban homestead in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. And he basically was telling me that growing lima beans is very helpful for your garden because it becomes a, I don't really know, like a sacrificial plant to insects. And bugs will come and chew on it and attack it, and then it sends out little receptors to apparently these wasps that'll come in and eat predatory bugs from the plants. I don't know. I don't have any idea how true it is, but I am totally, like, not opposed to trying something that will help. So there we go. That's that little explanation. We also experimented and planted some corn. This was Shane's little project garden. He planted, I believe, 2 corn seeds per hole, and I think every one of them came up except for maybe one. So we're gonna be literally up to our ears in corn here in the fall, which will be fun. Never grown corn completely before. I had a voluntary plant in my garden in South Carolina that just came from like bird seed or whatever, and it really didn't do much of anything. So this will be fun. I guess we'll go inside the greenhouse real quick. There's the nicest breeze that comes out. You can kind of see the leaves flapping around. It feels really good to stand here in front of this door when it's 100 or almost 100 degrees outside. So in here we just have a few houseplants. This is a polka dot plant that I absolutely love. This thing was like dead almost like 2 months ago, and then I put it in here and it's just thriving. This also was almost dead. This is a Monstera. I don't remember which one this is. But that is doing great also. I need to make a new totem for it to climb. Coleus here started from seeds in this late spring. They're getting there. Got more nasturtiums in this bed. I have some oregano I need to plant, which I actually bought for the chickens to eat. I've got a yellow bell pepper that needs to be planted in there, and then some seedlings. Guess what? More tomatoes. I believe that's a pepper plant. Again, I was stupid and, I remember what all of these are. Yeah, no, I don't. And I think there's some cabbage, maybe kale, I don't know. Whatever. So in here we have, this is like mostly tomatoes in this center raised bed here, which, giving you a distant view far, is, so it has a trellis running down the center, and then we had to add, which I'll show you from the other side, some more support for my heirloom tomatoes, which are almost 6 feet tall. Lovely sign from my best friend for my birthday a few years ago that I just painted. So I have some purple Ruffles basil there. This tomato plant is a cherry tomato plant. This one is not looking amazing, but it's producing like constantly. This is a husky cherry red hybrid cherry tomato. Then we have some rosemary here. More purple Ruffles basil. This is like a bush variety, like it's supposed to be a garden patio container tomato plant. I don't remember what the exact name of it is because I threw the tag away. But it's doing pretty good. We've gotten a couple of pretty good sized tomatoes off of it so far. We have more Thai basil. That's not as happy in here as it is outside. Spinach, which I'm attempting to grow, and it doesn't seem to be changing. It's alive, but it's not growing. Then we have lettuce, leaf, basil, which is a heirloom basil. I had to trim all the leaves off the bottom of it. It got kind of funky there, but it's doing alright now. And then there's, I don't know, some stuff. We'll see what that is. More basil, because, I mean, why not? We got parsley, and then this is tarragon back here. Up here, we've got banana pepper babies. In the back is a jalapeno. Then this is orange bites. Fresh bites orange is called. It's a sweet pepper. I didn't get any yield off of this yet, but I am excited. There are flowers, and there are like some teeny tiny little signs of peppers finally. This is a jalapeno, and this one is pretty tall. This is, these guys here. You know, I don't remember what they are either. I'm kind of a disorganized ADD gardener. Because, you know, sometimes I just have seeds and I'm like, I want to plant stuff. And then I'll label them later, and then I never do. So that's when stuff like that happens. These are candy cane peppers. super cool variegated variety. Love the stripes on these, and they get really cool when they start to change like red and orange, and the leaves are really pretty also. We got a couple of peppers on here. This is a mild jalapeno plant, which is now touching the ceiling. So it is about 4.5 feet tall or so. Then we've got, this is a shishito pepper plant here. And I have my green onions. And over here we have radishes. In the back there's, guess what? A lima bean plant. There's one pea plant that's growing, which is insane. I don't think anything really is going to happen with it, but it's too hot for peas to be growing at this point. And then these are garden bean plants. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wouldn't say they're doing amazing. It's probably too hot in here, but they're alright. More propagated unknown species of tomato plants. Yay. And then I thought it'd be real funny to just throw a bunch of celery seeds in here like months ago. And amazingly enough, they're like attempting to grow. So we'll just see about that. I guess my shelf unit back here has all the things. I've got natural fertilizers and fungicides and all my stuff to make things that I need, insecticides or whatever. I cannot say that my garden is 100% organic, but it is as natural as I can possibly make it. Even down to the dirt we bought from a local organic landscape and gardening place called Gardenville, and they have great prices on organic. Like this is I think it's called Superior Garden Soil, and it is like compost and really good soil, and there's manure. I mean, it's just a great blend of all the things. It's been really, really awesome so far. We also got our pea gravel for the floor there. Anyway, so yeah, I've got some potting soil back there and then fertilizers back there, and my hand watering can. And then I just have some tools and tie-up tape and measuring spoons, and this bin here has stuff in it that can't get wet, like notes, and I keep my microgreen fiber mats in there. This is just one of our harvesting baskets that I spray painted, and if you see my windowsill that I painted fun stuff all over. What is it in here? 87.8 with 72% humidity. Yeah, it's too hot. So here's my microgreens. These are a mix that's like, so my phone keeps overheating. That's no surprise considering how freaking hot it is. So I'm gonna end the video here and probably pick up maybe a little later this evening with some other things that I would like to share on the farm. I gotta close this door. If I don't keep this closed, the chickens will get in here and pretty much destroy everything, which is also why we have chicken wire around the outer gardens, just to keep them out. So thus far we've only had one chicken get in, and it's because she jumped off the steps into the shade garden on the other side. But I hope you guys enjoyed the first extensive video of our little garden projects. I'd like to do a small tour slash story about the chicken coop probably next, and then maybe we'll do a yard tour and see some of the other plants and things that we've built, and also I want to do a studio tour. So, thanks for hanging out. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see anything different or more of something. Also, please subscribe and like the videos. It'd be very encouraging to get me to do this more often if I had people that were enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying doing it. So I think the more positive influence I get from others, the easier it's going to be for me. I mean, it was hard enough getting in front of the camera and talking, kind of telling our story. It's a very weird, unnatural thing for me. So, my phone keeps overheating. That's no surprise, considering how freaking hot it is. So, I'm gonna end the video here, and probably pick up maybe a little later this evening with some other things that I would like to share on the farm. I gotta close this door. If I don't keep this closed, the chickens will get in here and pretty much destroy everything, which is also why we have chicken wire around the outer gardens, just to keep them out. So thus far, we've only had one chicken get in, and it's because she jumped off the steps into the shade garden on the other side. But I hope you guys enjoyed the first extensive video of our little garden projects. I'd like to do a small tour / story about the chicken coop probably next, and then maybe we'll do a yard tour and see some of the other plants and things that we've built, and also I want to do a studio tour. So thanks for hanging out. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see anything different or more of something. Also, please subscribe and like the videos. It'd be very encouraging to get me to do this more often if I had people that were enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying doing it. So I think the more positive influence I get from others, the easier it's going to be for me. I mean, it was hard enough getting in front of the camera and talking, kind of telling our story. It's a very weird, unnatural thing for me.